And we are live. Hey guys, we are with a wonderful group of authors today. We are doing On an Adventure, and we're going to let our authors introduce themselves. But I am Megan. I'm the co-owner of Fae Crate. We have our other co-owner. She'll introduce herself as well. But we are here to have just a little fun during quarantine while we're all stuck at home and not able to go to our favorite author events. So here we are.
Hey guys, I'm Brittany, and I'm the other half of Fae Crate. And we're just going to go ahead and dive in and start with introductions for you guys. If you want to start all the way at the end, swear. Yeah.
And introduce yourself and then do a pitch for your most current book.
Okay. I'm Swearingen Durham. You can call me Swear. Everybody else does. My debut novel comes out this summer. It's called Tales of the Bardenwood, The Blackstone Ritual. It's book one of a fantasy series, young adult, and it centers around a young stable boy in a medieval kind of time frame who discovers that he is an ancient species of protector and has like all these super cool powers and everything. And he is lured into some forbidden woods near his home by a witch and has to learn about what that means, what he means in this new world that he's discovered. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Very cool.
Okay, Kiersten, you want? Okay, this is
Cool.
recorded.
Hey, I'm Kiersten White. I'm the author of 16 books for teens and young readers. My most recent books are The Guinevere Deception, which is the first book in a new trilogy, the Camelot Rising trilogy, set in Camelot, where Guinevere comes to wed King Arthur, but she has a secret. She's not the real Guinevere. She's a changeling sent there to be his magical bodyguard. And then book two, The Camelot Betrayal, comes out in November. And then my other most recent book is Chosen, which is book two in the Slayer series. Those are new books set in the world of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, featuring a brand new Slayer, Nina, who has to come to terms with her powers. And that's a duology, so you can read the entire series, start to finish. No waiting. You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Adeline Grace. I'm the author of the recent All the Stars and Teeth, which I have right here. Hi.
Go ahead, but oh my gosh.
It is a young adult fantasy about a morally gray princess who is forced to team up with a pirate in order to save her kingdom from a magical new threat. And the book I'm working on is its sequel, All the Tides of Fate, and we just revealed its cover yesterday, so you can check out my Instagram if you want to see that.
Yeah, it's
Really
Yes,
pretty.
it's so
Beautiful.
super pretty.
They're gonna look so good next to each other.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We're also big fans of that color scheme.
Okay, so we have a little bit of an icebreaker for you guys. Y'all are our first guinea pigs for this. So I'm going to kind of lay it out for you. We are going to be building an adventure. You're each going to have like a little story, a little mini story. We're going to do half in the beginning and half at the end. And after the live is over, we will be typing those up and posting them for all of you to be able to read later of our little mini books with our authors. So the first part of this question is we are going to be choosing our character. So we have 4 different characters. If you could each select one that's different, that's why we have one extra just in case. But you're going to each choose a character to go on your adventure. So our options are, we have a shapeshifter that turns into a dragon, but they are also super clumsy. We have a plucky enchanter or enchantress with a penchant for making enemies. We have a son or daughter of the village blacksmith who has all the brawn and charisma, but tends to have no clue what's going on at the moment. And we have a landlocked pirate with heaps of charm, but can't seem to hold on to their luck for long.
Can we give Adalyn the pirate? Can we?
Yeah, Adeline got the
Right,
pirate.
okay, I'll take the pirate.
Okay, I want the blacksmith.
I like a notebook. I'm prepared for this.
Yeah.
I do not have a notebook anywhere near me.
Who's for
Yeah,
you?
I want the himbo blacksmith, but I want it to be a girl.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna go with what was the clumsy dragon shapeshifter?
Yeah.
I'm into that.
All right.
That's
Perfect.
the one I want.
Swear. All right. Brittany, would you like to do our second step?
I would. So our next step is to choose our side character. Everybody needs a sidekick, a best friend, etc., etc. So we have 4 of those for you to choose as well. So we have a comic relief that has a crush on you. The sassy best friend that will threaten anyone for you but has the muscle capacity of a noodle. Strong guy or girl that will defend you but hates you and makes it known often.
Oh,
that's a romance waiting to happen.
yeah, it is.
Or your choice of animal sidekick with powers, but you don't know what they are.
Animal familiar for me.
What animal?
All right. I'm gonna go with like a bird of prey, like a owl or a falcon. Owl for sure. They're silent.
An owl. Okay.
Kiersten, you can pick the next one.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the feisty best friend who will threaten anyone, but has the muscle capacity of a noodle because, hello, my life.
Me.
And then the first one was comic relief with a crush on you, right?
Yes.
Pretty sure that's Ferric from my book, so I'll go with that one.
Nice.
All right. Perfect. We have loaded our team. Okay, now that we have our team, you are going on a perilous journey to receive an ancient relic that has magic. What is your relic and what magic can it do?
Oh.
And just whatever the first thing that pops into you.
I want a gambling coin with ultra luck.
Ooh, yeah. That's good.
Yeah, especially for a pirate who can't hold on to their luck.
That's really smart. Look at you remembering the details, making this hard on us.
That's nice. Yes.
Wait, we're all going on the same quest though, so we're all going for that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that's
You're
perfect.
going on your different journeys. You each have to come up with a relic.
Oh, we each have. Oh,
Ah.
riding Adalyn's coattails here. Come on.
Seriously.
Adalyn comes up with like the best thing right out of the gate. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll do. I'll use my own books for inspiration. I'll do Blackstone, and it'll be for a ritual of some kind that I need. Well, I need to have a reason for it. It's
What
Blackstone,
can it do?
and it's to make me not clumsy. It's to give me like grace and fluidity. I think that's what we'll do.
All right. Drawing inspiration from A Knight's Tale, which is the movie that made my husband fall in love with me 18 years ago. She's going for a forging hammer that will allow her to forge anything so that people will actually hire her as a blacksmith.
Like it, yeah.
Yes.
Forge anything.
You guys have very just causes.
I don't actually know if that's a blacksmithing term. Again, like maybe didn't do any research on this beforehand. Maybe she doesn't know either. Maybe she's a terrible blacksmith. Doesn't know the terminology.
Perfect.
There's so many things happening that I wasn't prepared for.
I just feel like they have really just causes. I'm just like, I don't want to be clumsy.
That's a just cause.
Okay, so we know what we're going for and why, who we are and who our friends are. But what does the world you're traveling in look like? What's going on around you? What's that setting?
Foresty for me. Foresty and mountainous.
I'd say water since it's a pirate, but is there anything like, what else can you pirate?
I don't know. It said you're landlocked.
Oh, I'm landlocked?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a landlocked pirate. Okay, well, I'm on a deserted island, I guess.
That seems right.
I mean, it could be like you're out there in like the lava landlocked mountain. It could be whatever you want it to be.
I am on an island, like a tropical island that has a lot of frogs.
It's not where I thought that was going. I was thinking lots of little drinks with the umbrellas.
Frogs.
So there's that too. But there's also a lot of frogs.
Okay.
Lots
Fair.
of frogs, lots of tiny umbrellas.
I'm going to go with an island inspired by Iceland because I hate describing setting, and Iceland is pretty basic. Are there trees? No. Are there rocks? Yes. Is there snow? Yes. Done.
Done.
Lots of rocks.
Lots of rocks.
No frogs. No
No
frogs.
frogs.
All right. And swear we had foresty and mountains.
Or yeah, mountainous. Think New Zealand, Middle Earth. That's where I'm going.
Okay.
And moderate weather, please. I don't want to sweat on my journey. You know?
Okay, let's just make this paradise.
Yeah.
Your journey's starting to sound easier.
I didn't see
Yeah.
any of the Fellowship of the Ring sweat.
It's because they took so many breaks for their eating.
That is true. There was like
Boromir
second
for
breakfast.
sure looked like they did not smell good.
No,
They were sweating.
they were stopping for 11.
Legolas was not sweating.
Does
Aragorn and
make
Boromir.
so sweat stains though.
Yeah.
Was it sweat or glisten? Like
No, it was sweat.
Gimli, yeah.
Legolas
Gimli was definitely sweating. Those long distances. And some of them I'd be okay. Aragorn can sweat. He can sweat as much as he would like to sweat.
He's allowed.
come on.
Ooh.
All right. So, as we were traveling through with our companions looking for our ancient relics with magic, you and your companion are on the way and you're confronted with a villain. Ah! What does that villain look like and how does your characters fight the villain? A villain could be like a giant Oreo. It can be whatever you want it to be.
I feel like my villain is like a super hot seductress, and the pirate doesn't want to fight her.
I wouldn't fight her either.
He's trying to he's like trying to figure out how.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with like a ambitious, power hungry warlord. That's pretty. I don't know what I'm gonna do against that. As a clumsy dragon, I really don't know what I can do to do that, to fight him, other than maybe breathe fire. Am I a fire breathing dragon? Do we know?
Sure. Yeah, this is your game.
Then I am a fire breathing dragon, and I'll take out the warlord.
Don't forget your sidekicks too. You can
Oh yeah, and my owl, who
your owl.
Dragon and the owl like hanging out.
Oh wait, though I would outfit my owl in like some Guardians of Gahul stuff. Like he would have like blades, you know,
Like
a helmet, a little helmet, a little knight's helmet. Oh yeah, we'll be fine.
Ew.
All right. My villain is capitalism. An economic system that doesn't allow women to earn their own wages. So I've got two girls trying to travel this countryside, but they literally can't make money because women aren't allowed to handle money, right? And so that's my villain. My villain is capitalism
I'm ready to see you take it
and
down.
the patriarchy.
That's good.
And the patriarchy,
Well, we're covering big
You know what we're
villains
doing.
here.
Might as well go all the way.
right?
All right. Perfect. All right, so we're going to pause with our game and continue after we do some of these questions. So we're going to be left there. But our first question is, what are your main characters doing during quarantine? If we want to start maybe in order, Swear, and then Kiersten and Adalyn. Okay, I did that backwards because my camera.
Yeah.
Oh man, put me first. Ard, during quarantine, he's pulling pranks on his grandmother because he'd be quarantined with her, and he's pulling pranks on her. They have a really playful relationship, so I feel like he'd be scheming and hanging out with horses because he's a stable boy. The witch in the story, Imagora, she'd be for sure gardening, like but only flower garden. She's not making like vegetables and stuff. She doesn't have a vegetable garden. She likes things that are like pretty, so she'll be doing like flowers and stuff for sure.
So I'll do the Guinevere deception. And I see Guinevere and Lancelot going on a quest for a magical cure to alleviate the suffering in Camelot, while, of course, traveling responsibly, maintaining social distance, wearing masks, etc., etc. I mean, Lancelot has a lot of experience wearing a mask anyway, so it works out.
Works.
Yeah, so Fear Series is actually doing something where I had to write what my characters were going to be doing in quarantine. And I I think it comes out like relatively soon, so I won't go into too much detail, but the mermaid Batea gets a little bit hungry in quarantine, and she's got to go find something to eat.
Like an unlucky sailor.
I feel like you just described my personal entire quarantine experience.
Oh my gosh,
I need to go find something to eat all day, every day.
Literally.
I need to find flour and yeast because I feel like I'm watching all these people around me bake, and it's
Making
like
bread.
I
I
want
bought yeast
cinnamon rolls.
and still have not touched it because I was like, I should bake some bread.
Yeah, there's a lot of bread baking.
I don't need to
going
know
on.
how to do that, and there's yeast in that, right? And then I have it there, and I haven't touched it.
Yeah, I feel like they're at like if apart from that, they'd all just be like kicking back at the palace, just like having people feed them. Like that's the best. That's the best way to quarantine, I would assume.
From 6 feet away. Like,
My personal quarantine is the background of that, where I've constantly been having to feed someone.
Mm.
Meanwhile, I've just gone through an inordinate amount of fudge rounds since quarantine. So there's my productivity.
Okay, so if you could pick a companion from any other book to go on a quest with, your own main with your own main characters, who would it be?
Do we get one choice or like or are we
Do
building
whatever you want. Mm-hmm.
I'm building an
Oh.
army. I would have
Estimated quickly.
oh I'm sorry, we're going in order. Swear. Go for it.
it was totally fine. I was thinking.
No, you can go ahead. We don't have to go in order.
I'd for sure like build an army. It'd be Lotta from Anti-Dark, and it'd be like an intense army. It would be Cass Brecker. It would be Zaylee from Children of Blood and Bone. It'd be Fable from Adrian Young's upcoming Fable. Like anybody who could be like different like traits. Just like Lotta's, you know, she's very handy with weapons. Kaz he's
Yeah, I feel like no one is coming out alive
yeah.
in opposition.
Yeah. I think that's it. That's my team. They're great.
I'll do it with Slayer and Chosen. And I love like the friend dynamics. I love group dynamics. That's one of my favorite things about Buffy, and it was one thing that I tried to recapture in Slayer and Chosen. So like I'm flat out just gonna take Etienne St. Clair from Anne and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. Does he have any special abilities? No. Does he have magic? No. Is he a supernatural creature? No. Is he delightful and charming and would I like to write scenes and hang out with him? Yes.
That's what I want.
Congratulations. Let's join the Watchers.
So you said it has to be a set of characters from another book or
Just a character
Fictional character.
to hang out with your main character.
I want the Aang gang from
Oh,
Avatar:
yeah.
The Last Airbender. That's who I want because that entire show was questing. That entire show was a one giant quest from beginning to end, and they were so cute and so fun and powerful and ate a lot. So
And Zuko. Like, have you seen his
oh my god, my
Is that-
wife.
Is that Edward Elric behind you, by the way? Swear.
Oh,
Yeah. Is that Edward?
No.
No,
That's
Who is
Aelin.
that?
That's Aelin and Ash.
that's
Oh,
right.
Okay. Okay. For a second, it looked like Edward Elric, but it doesn't anymore.
Yeah, when you see her little.
I was
Okay.
like, is he behind me? I was like, is he behind me? But he's like in another room.
Yeah, those are Fae Crate plushies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a camera. I got a distance. I just saw blonde hair.
I had to rep them, you know. I'm here with Fae Crate, so
I feel like Appa would come in very much handy for me.
right.
Because
We have-
that's a lot of walking, and I'm just like Gimli, and like, don't put me down for the cardio. I'm for short distances. And I'm also like, you know, I need to stop for like second breakfast and everything. So, you know, he would be. But if I don't come across the cabbage guy, then am I really worth it?
I want to be the cabbage guy on the quest.
If
That's
I'm
what I
going
want.
through the Buffy world and not crossing the Cheese Man from the random episode of the Cheese Man.
And I put the Cheese Man in as a cameo.
Oh,
Like,
gosh.
How
that's
could you
funny.
not? The Cheese Man.
That's a true mark. Okay, so let's see here. Next question. let's see. If you had to go on a quest for a mythical, now this is for your own sake, not for our story here. If you had to go on a quest for a mythical object and had to go through hard obstacles, which of your own characters would you choose to help you?
I would choose. I would choose the Huntress in my story, Blackstone Ritual. I won't give too much away, but she's got a bow and a spear, and she's good with it. So I'm taking her for sure. Everybody else in the book is incompetent.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of my characters would leave me for dead. I mean, Lotta for sure leave me for dead. She'd probably kill me herself. So I'm gonna go with Lancelot. Super loyal, lots of skills, gonna get stuff done. Yeah.
Lances a lot.
God.
Sorry.
Time out.
That's like basically the plot of my second book. And they bring in a character, and that's the same character I would bring in, which is Shanty from the Barracuda Lounge. Because she's good with weapons, but also she can disguise herself and everybody around her with enchantment magic. And I feel like that is a very nifty tool. She's a face shifter. And I would also like to be a face shifter, or at least have that like on my team.
That would be very nice and handy to have.
Oh yeah.
A face shifter. I could use that.
Okay, can you give us any fun facts on where parts of your book's travels were inspired from? Were any inspired by real places you've been to or wanted to go to?
Are we still doing like the me start? Like me, then
That's
Kiersten? Okay. For me, it was most definitely inspired by Middle Earth, Alagasia, those type of mountainous, foresty regions, like the main parts of the book. But the whole world itself is I didn't want it to be very, minimal. I wanted it to be broad. So I've got everything. I've got deserts and, mysterious islands and forests and tropical oases and palm trees, whatever you like. I've got, you can live anywhere out there. So it's just inspired by a lot of places, but most definitely I think Middle Earth or any typical I think you'd think of for medieval storytelling for me.
Adeline and I both started laughing at the same time. Did you see that comment at the bottom, Adeline? There's
Yeah.
a very handsome gentleman who asked, "Can a face shifter give me hair?"
She could.
Can she make me 5'7"? Because I want to be 5'7".
Oh, that's perfect, Justin.
I'm
I love
only
him.
8 inches shy, so I only have eight inches to go. No question. Yeah, for the Camelot Rising trilogy, I looked at pre-medieval England. So it was very forested, but it was starting to be deforested. And yeah, that was basically like the topography and the history of that region during that era. And I have been to England, and it's beautiful, but it looks a lot different now than it would have back then. Obviously, for the Anti-Darken trilogy, it's based in historical Romania and Turkey. I didn't get a chance to go to Turkey, but I have been to Romania, which is an incredibly beautiful countryside and just really, really well preserved. So you can walk through these historical sites and see exactly what it would have been like, which was just invaluable. And then for Slayer and Chosen, I set it in Ireland because I wanted to go to Ireland, but then I didn't get a chance to.
You can't go anywhere.
Very kind Irish person on Twitter let me know that a couple of the things that the Irish character was saying were things that no Irish person has ever say. So my answer to that is it was actually an homage to David Boreanaz, who played Angel, to his genuinely atrocious Irish accent.
Oh man,
This was my personal homage to David, to Angel, to that attempt at an Irish accent. I did just as bad a job. You're welcome, Buffyverse.
You stayed true to it.
I stayed true. It was very meta. It was absolutely meta and deliberate and not a mistake of research.
Oh, man, it was so bad. So bad.
I'm just gonna be thinking about Angel and the accent now forever. Like I thought I'd forgotten. Now it's back. Thank you.
Some of them are still my favorite episodes, though. Like when they
no, those episodes were amazing, and like I have no problem with his accent. It's great. He's great.
He's whatever accent he wanted to. It was fine.
Oh my god.
He could have done a pirate accent, and I've been like, yeah.
I was never an Angel fan. I
was more partial to Spike.
Spike too. But whenever I first watched it as a kid who was watching it while her mother did not know what she was watching, I was very much an Angel fan. And then I got older and like sarcastic people that aren't nice to you at first. So the Spike was all for it. It was like enemies to lovers trope. Yes.
Oh man, I used to rent it from the library, like rent the DVDs and take it home on like a little mini DVD player and watch it that way. And then whenever my mom would ask what I was watching, I was like, oh, I don't know, Peter Pan. Something.
Yeah, I used to have Buffy on early in the morning before I would get ready for school.
Like 5 a.m.
4 o'clock in the morning. We had reruns.
Yeah, and I wasn't supposed to be watching it, and I would have my finger on the channel button because I didn't have a remote. So I'll be watching it with my finger on the channel button, and Mom walk in and be like, "Bloop! Oh, I'm just flipping."
There's someone trying to find something to watch. Buffy. There's someone for everyone in Buffy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I froze or if everyone.
All right, Adalyn.
So I tried really hard to not draw inspiration from any other places, particularly because I have island settings, and I feel like with islands you can get into appropriation like territory real quick. So I tried really hard to make it very much its own thing. That said, like I did go to Hawaii and I did try to get my scuba certification there, and there's like an underwater scene, and I like researched that kind of stuff like that way. And I did a lot of hikes and stuff in Hawaii to, try to be influenced by the green, gorgeous mountains where like all these really epic, like historical fights happened and stuff. But yeah, I tried really hard to just very much make it its own thing.
That's really good. I never would have thought about the cultural appropriation aspect of it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we tried really hard. We went through like 4 different sensitivity readers too for the book, just to really try to make sure.
Yeah, because you want to take those cultures and be, respectful at the very least, if you want to, because some of them are very, very, very cool and colorful, and much cooler than a foresty mountain area in some ways, more than one way, I think.
Yeah, you just don't want to offend anybody. You don't want to accidentally.
Yeah, definitely not.
All right, so our next question is, you were suddenly put in your main character's place. Will you survive your own book or not?
No.
Do I have to go on that same journey, or is it just the book?
Right. That's true.
You can be in your own world. That's fine. You can edit this.
Well, then I've got a Shire-like place in my world, and I will be posted up there for sure, going on no quests. I will be Bilbo Baggins with my coffee and my books, and I'll just read about other people's adventures and not go anywhere.
Let's see. If I were Nina, if I were just Slayer, no. I'd be dead. I'd be a very, very short chain in the Slayer line. And then if I were in the Guinevere deception, and if I were Guinevere, I don't know if I would survive, but I would have a good time in the meantime.
Matters, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I definitely would not survive if I was Amora, but if I was just in that world, yeah, I mean, there's 7 different islands. I'll go to the one where nothing's happening.
Right.
It's fine. I'll just sit here. It's fine.
Yeah, you guys like have your
the
board.
frogs and the tiny umbrellas.
That island.
That's where I'm going. I'll write that one in. 8th Island.
The tiny umbrella island.
I feel like this is Animal Crossing suddenly. Oh, okay. Wait, that was everyone on that one. It's my turn. I spaced out. I'm sorry. Okay. Thinking about the frogs. What is your favorite adventure, book, or movie to read or watch? And why do you like it?
Mad Max Fury Road.
Wait, what was that?
Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh,
I love
yes.
everything about it. I love every single thing about it. And I rewatch it really frequently.
That was amazing. And the costuming was
the costuming and the world building and like it's all I just love
Furiosa.
that movie is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I remember going to see that movie for the first time, and I had never watched. I didn't know anything about the Mad Max world, and I remember going in the theater, and I didn't even watch the trailer. And I just remember the first 10 minutes just being so confused, like, what is going on? This is epic, but I have no idea what's happening.
I mean, it basically sums it up. That was actually the first. That was the first rated R movie that I ever saw. Because I was raised in a very conservative religion, so I never saw rated R movies. And then that was the one I was like, nope, I'm going.
Oh man, it was what a good way to start a restricted movie.
Exactly.
Going experience.
Yeah, only the best for breaking
right.
the ending rule.
I feel like, not to steal Swear's answer from earlier, but Avatar The Last Airbender for sure is like, I love that adventure. I love just like the camaraderie, and I love the characters and everything they go through. And also, Brittany, is that a Kakashi shirt?
Yeah. We were like representing our favorite animes today. It's like, it's fine.
And I'm like, I keep looking around everybody's background and be like, oh, what are they fans of? Oh, he's like Sailor Moon? Oh, cool.
Everything.
Adalyn,
my kids, I've been like forcing them to binge watch Avatar.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm tired of kids shows. Here's something I've decided we're watching. So now we're like
a kids show with substance.
Yeah. Show still.
No, my youngest is about to turn 7, and I'm like, he's old enough. Because like he would have liked it before, but now he's old enough to appreciate it.
Right.
So we're gonna do a big rewatch, and my teens, of course, will be on board because it's one of their favorites. Like,
yeah, my daughter's 8. That's why I was just like, it's past time. Come on.
I watched it when I was younger, but I feel like it's like definitely one of my favorites. Like I own them all on DVD and everything. But like it was one of those things that when I rewatched it when I was older, I was like, this was like very groundbreaking for what time. It's so ahead of its time. It's even ahead of now's time with people's inclusions and different like races, sexuality, everything is in there. And like you can definitely see it. I don't know if all of y'all have watched The Dragon Prince yet, but
I was going to say it. Like the undertone,
doing that, like I'm just blown away by like the subtleties of like just being inclusive with everything.
Yeah, have you seen She-Ra?
Netflix yet?
No, that's the next one on my list.
I like She-Ra way more than Dragon Prince.
I have
She-Ra.
Really?
Oh yes, we love. Oh yeah, and the new season's coming out so soon. And the trailer looked so intense. I'm so excited.
I can say I stalk artists on She-Ra, and I'm always like, ooh, and I like save all of it. So it's getting
great. I love it.
I just want to know what happens to Ketra. I don't really care about She-Ra. I just care about.
I love Ketra.
I care about Scorpion. I just want Scorpion.
Yes.
Stability and
all right.
love.
Well, that's the next on my list because
yes, it's really good.
Yeah, I loved The Dragon Prince. Loved it. Okay, what was the question again?
It was talk about cartoons for 5 minutes.
Show to watch and why you like it.
Favorite show to rewatch?
Favorite adventure, book, or movie to watch?
Okay.
Or read. Yeah, I didn't finish that.
Book, movie, show, etc.
Oh man. I don't want to be like the most cliche, but I love a good Marvel movie. I love those. I love like when I want to watch action, but like don't want to have to like really get too heavy into something. I'll watch those. But also X-Men, Underworld, Resident Evil, all of them. I'm a film movie freak, so I love them. That's what I get the most inspiration from writing. So all I do is rewatch movies, honestly. Mad Max Fury Road is one of them. I listen to that soundtrack while I write. Like, it's, yeah, definitely around those areas.
All right, perfect. So let's see here. Let's go into here. We have one more for all of you, and then we'll go into individual questions. So are you more of a plotter or a pantser, and do you have a certain setup of how you like things to be while you write? And I am expecting, Kiersten, to hear about this contraption that you use that looks like a torture device to write. I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, oh, no.
Wait, what?
The one where you can't go back.
Oh, the free write. Yeah.
That looked like a big note.
Oh, no. For me, I'm a plotter. Pantsers continue to both amaze and alarm me. Like if when I meet pantsers, I want to get inside their head, and I'm like, how do you do that? Because I started out as a pantser. Like, I would write stories, and then they would just get canned, tossed away. Like, this is going nowhere. I have no idea where it's going. I could not do it. The writer that I am today would never be able to accomplish a pantser manuscript at all, ever. So I'm definitely a plotter. I have to know exactly where my story is going before I even touch it. So.
Okay.
Neither. It just depends on the project. Sometimes I have to outline. If it's like a sequel and you have to have a roadmap, or if it's a book that I sold on proposal, or if it's something where I'm writing in somebody else's universe, like the Buffy books. My favorite way to write, though, is to just sit down and chase the story, and just kind of get lost in it and follow it wherever it takes me in the first draft. Those are always messier drafts, so they require a lot more editing. The thing that Megan was referring to is called a free write. It's where all it is a word processor, and there's no arrow keys, so you can't edit as you go, and you can only see the last 4 sentences that you did. And I do that when I'm really, really struggling to focus, because then all you can do is move forward. But it always does hit a point where I'm like, no, I can't do this anymore.
Oh my God.
My computer.
I was literally about to ask, how is that? Do you enjoy self-torture? No way. I don't know if I could do that.
There's where I would end up on something like that, because I would completely have forgotten where I started, and then I could go back and read wherever I did on that, and I can imagine it just being this whole twisty turny.
Yeah. No, it definitely makes for really messy drafts. Typically I'm a very clean drafter, and a fairly polished drafter. Those drafts are way messier, so it's a trade-off. It helps me focus and I can get through a draft, but it's a lot more work on the editorial end than I usually have to do. But that's anything in writing. If you spend a lot of time outlining, you're investing a lot of time up front, and maybe that's a big time investment, but it's going to help you get through the plot later. If you're a pantser, maybe you're going to create problems for yourself, but you can move through the story faster or dive in faster. There's trade-offs in everything with writing. And what works for one book usually doesn't work for the next book. It's fun like that.
Maybe when I'm at your level, Kiersten, I can try to shake things up a bit. Right now, I just need coffee and a plot.
I'm going to pile on you too, Kiersten. Okay, so you're a clean drafter, but you can draft a book in 6 days. How?
Yeah, how?
How?
Tell us, Kiersten.
Not always.
That is a true
sometimes. Only sometimes. And in my defense, the book you're referencing is The Dark Son of Elizabeth Frankenstein. I didn't have to plot that. Mary Shelley plotted it for me. So generous that way.
Okay, fair. Okay.
So I really recommend working with Mary Shelley if you ever get the chance.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really depends. That one again, I didn't have to do as much plot work. It was all voice and figuring out where a story could fit within that story. So that was like a slightly different circumstance. Like definitely was not writing the Anti-Darkened books in 6 days. Like, oh boy, no. So yeah, it just depends. And like I said, every single book that I've written has been a different process. It's taken a different amount of time. Like, I don't know. I don't have a process.
That's awesome.
What about you, Adalyn?
I'm sort of the same. So with All the Stars and Teeth, I like half plotted it. I would plot out the next 3 chapters, and then once I would write 2, I'd stop and I'd plot out the next 3. With All the Tides of Fate, I plotted the whole thing out, like a sequel, and you have to because your editor is like, "What are you writing?" And then like Selling on Proposal, you have to have an outline and stuff too. But I don't know now that I really could go back and just like free write. I feel like I like plotting now, and I like beat sheets. Save the Cat beat sheets I really, really like. So I don't do like chapter by chapter outlines. I do more of like, this is going to happen, this big thing's going to happen, this big thing's going to happen.
I like that.
Yeah, it's helpful, at least for me.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to segue into the individual questions now.
Oh boy.
These are the ones I researched.
Crap.
Okay, so Kiersten, you're up first. For the Guinevere deception, you focused on Guinevere, or who we think is Guinevere. What made you make the decision to make her the center of this retelling, and how did you come up with the idea for this particular plot twist in the classic tale?
Yeah, so most of my retellings stem from a combination of love and anger, which is, actually you could describe most of my life that way. So I take, a classic story that I love that means a lot to me, that I've always enjoyed, but also the things that aren't there really bother me. So, with The Dark Sun of Elizabeth Frankenstein, Mary Shelley was a genius, groundbreaking, but the women characters in that book are cardboard cutouts who exist to be victims, and that bothered me. So I wrote a book to have a conversation with that. So with the Guinevere deception, I've always loved Arthurian tales. I love Arthurian legends. I grew up on them. I studied them in college. Any Arthurian adaptation that comes out, I'm like, yes, I will go see Trash King Arthur. I will love every minute of it. Is it a mess? Does it make any narrative sense? No. Did I love it? Yes. King Arthur Legend of the Sword. Yeah.
I liked
it. It was a nightmare. Like, it was a mess. But still loved it.
So good.
But soundtrack. The soundtrack.
The soundtrack. I mean, it was great. It was fun. It was glorious. It was glorious nonsense, basically. But you watch that and you're like, okay, so you told the legend of King Arthur. You have 2 female characters, one of whom doesn't even have a name. She just has a title. And as soon as she does the big thing that allows him to win, she literally disappears. And that bugs me. It makes me mad. And so many of the Arthurian stories, if you go back to the classic tales, it's like, Arthur did this and he fought this war and he went campaigning here. And oh, by the way, in the meantime, he married this chick named Guinevere. Her dad was a king of Cameliard. And then he went into this forest and did this battle and da-da-da-da-da. And so like they really just kind of gloss over until they decide, oh, but Guinevere betrayed him. And then they are suddenly interested in her story. And that bothers me. And then too, when you look at those stories, they're all about the battles and the bravery and the swords, and they never talk about the aftermath or the collateral damage or what's happening around those stories. And so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to a very sort of traditional Camelot. I wanted to have those very archetypal characters. I wanted to have the noble King Arthur. I wanted to have the conniving secret of Mordred. I wanted to have the brave, loyal Lancelot, like all these things. But I wanted to focus on the women of Camelot and what living in that society with those values and those changes, what that would have asked of them and done to them. And so I knew right away that I needed Guinevere to be an agent of change. I needed her to be not just a princess who marries Arthur and is hanging out on the sidelines forever. And so that's why I decided to take the tact of Guinevere is not really Guinevere. The real Princess Guinevere died in a convent, and they slipped this Guinevere in as a replacement to be sort of a magical whoop. My computer is balanced on a Shakespeare, like a collection of all Shakespeare's plays, and then a George R. R. Martin book. So it's a lot of inches. Anyway, and so once I realized that Guinevere is going to go into Camelot thinking she knows exactly why she's there and who she is, and Camelot's going to challenge everything about that, then I realized I had my story, and that was what I wanted to focus on. But yeah, all of my retellings come from, I love this storytelling tradition or this book or this idea. I don't love the way that it treats women. I want to have a conversation with that.
God, I love that.
Yeah.
Would the nameless female character you're talking about, would that be the lady in the water or lady of the lake?
Oh, it was the mage.
Oh, okay. I'll take that
the
too.
movie, King Arthur Legend of the Sword.
Yes.
The mage. Yeah,
The
she's super
one
powerful.
with the cool eyes that could talk to animals and stuff. What I wanted, like, literally an entire storyline for her.
Mage.
Okay.
Yeah, like she should have had a movie. She was way interesting. Anyway.
She's way more interesting. Write that, Kiersten. Get to work.
I have a trilogy.
Yeah, there's always a story. All right. So next is Adalyn. Okay. So we already touched on this whenever you caught Kakashi over here. So we've read that you love anime. And we also know that, God, we sound like creeps now that I think about it. We also know that you worked as an intern with Nickelodeon during Legend of Korra. Super jealous of that. And that quote, anime is one of the greatest mediums of storytelling, and you can fight me on that. We will not fight you, it's true. But can you elaborate and tell us how anime has influenced your writing style and what some of your favorite animes are?
Yeah, I don't even remember saying that, but that 100% sounds like me, so I will believe that.
Writing.
I think it was more of like that is what got me into stories. Like I started with Sailor Moon and Pokemon, and then went to like Inuyasha and Static Shock and Xiaolin Showdown and all that stuff. Card captors, like anything that was on like Kids WB, that was like in my veins. That was what I like fed on.
Love this.
Yeah, and that's what got me into stories. And then from there, it just never like that love for it never went away. And I think that you can get away with so much more in animation, or you can just show much more, like the magic. And even when we have the live action movies and we have like cool magic, how do you think they're doing that? They're doing that with animation techniques. Like that stuff is how we get the magic in our stories. It's how we get all these cool things that you don't just see in everyday life. So I do think it is a superior form of storytelling because we can just show whatever we want to, and it's so much fun. As far as like favorites go, oh my gosh, I have so many. Avatar is not anime; it's a cartoon, but still Avatar. Currently, it's My Hero Academia. I'm absolutely obsessed. Is that your shirt?
I have
yes.
on here.
Yes. I am an All Might fan. I keep trying to find somebody who will make me who I can commission to make me a life-size statue of All Might for my office, but nobody will do it yet. But I really want that so bad.
Everyone.
Yeah, like
you know who to contact if that's your area of expertise.
Yeah. I want that for the next book I sell. That is like the prize I want for myself.
The cardboard cutout might.
No, that's not the same.
No, it's not the same.
Yeah.
But so for sure that one. And then I feel like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is one of the best stories of like all time. It is, as far as anime goes, it is so good. And that is the one I will tell people to like start with. If they haven't started watching anime, it's very accessible, but it's also just wonderful storytelling. But yeah, I love anime. I could talk about this for like an hour, so I should just stop.
Just so everyone knows, the statue has to be able to deflate as well into smaller him. So I hope you're talented.
Well, I don't know. I think I'll just stick with the muscle form.
I wonder why.
If you could just make me I would be very happy. So
there's a shirt that I want so bad, and I've only seen it like one time, and I haven't looked for it, so I don't know who like sells it or who came up with the idea for it. But it's All Might, but it says Y'all Might, and he's got like a cowboy hat on.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm from the South, so I'm all about that.
I'm sure you could find that. I mean, yeah, half my closet is like Cabbage Band shirt, My Hero shirt. Like, yeah, it's in my veins still.
I saw it somewhere, and I was like, well, if I ever were to get a My Hero Academia shirt, that would be the one. That's the one.
There was a point before we started Fae Crate, where like, you know, the way whenever I was doing like just an employee, like you dress a certain type of way whenever you're like an employee and going in and having to represent a different company than your own. And so when Fae Crate came up and we kind of like were opened up with the range of how we could look in photos and things like that, it kind of changed. And I remember like I got all of my important notes and everything. And like now everyone that sees us in meetings and stuff, I'm like, it's an notebook.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm the same. They started sending me to like cons, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I can wear nerd shirts. That's the best."
And then me and Brittany left both of our original jobs. We like dyed our hair, like everything. We were like, "It's over. We're free."
Okay. So next we've got Swear. I hear that your book has a lot to do with like the dynamics of nature and things like that. Can you talk a little bit about this and how it like influences your story?
Yeah, I'm an environmentalist at heart. I mean, not at heart. I'm definitely an environmentalist. I think about nature a lot. I very much care about the planet and everything. So it was only natural for me to include some aspects of nature into the biology of the world that I created. So the magic system that I have, I won't go into too much detail to not ruin anything. But I use the duality of nature. That is, light and dark. It's definitely not the first person to do it, but it is a main focal point in my story to have that duality and that air of there's always a birth to a death or regrowth and things like that. So that definitely was the main focus for my magic system, but also the relationship between nature and mankind was a very big piece of how this world works and how the character stories progress. All of that ties in with, again, the duality of nature and the relationship between man and nature. I sound a lot like Dr. Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park right now. I didn't even really realize it at first, but yeah, that's me.
All right, perfect. Now, Kiersten, in Chosen, with the ability to create new beings and species in the Buffyverse, which type of grouping did you have the most fun writing about? You had like slayers, vampires, witches, demons, and that's something that you could make your own in this way. So what was the most fun for you to do?
So it's two-part. I got to sort of expand on slayer powers. Just extrapolate. So saying slayers have prophetic dreams and their dreams connect them to past slayers. Well, what happens if suddenly you have more than 1,000 active slayers? Would their dreams connect them to each other? And I decided, yes, their dreams would connect them to each other. I love dream sequences. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't have dream sequences in your books. I'm like, dream sequences, yes. So it was really fun for me to be like, because I feel like that made sense. That was an extension of the Slayer powers that, given the setup after the end of season 7, made sense. So I wasn't just like, now they can fly. I was like, well, now they can communicate with each other via their dreams. And so that was really fun. And then one of the challenges of writing in the Buffyverse is there's not, as far as world building, when you're writing a magic system in books, everything has to connect. Everything has to make sense. There has to be a cost for everything. There has to be an origin. There has to be internal consistency. Not in the television show by the Vampire Slayer. Demons were sometimes from other dimensions. Demons were sometimes just on Earth. Demons were sometimes this. Demons were sometimes that. And so at first it really stressed me out because I was like, what if I break the rules? And then I was like, oh, there are no rules. And so I did get to create a couple of demons, which was really fun. One of my very favorite characters, Doug, is an homage to Lorne, who was on the show Angel, who was one of my favorite characters. And then I got to create an entirely new species of demon called the Remora Demon, which was really fun in book 1, and then in book 2, I have even more. And so that was it was fun getting to sort of play with demonology and be like, okay, well, I'll use like demons that we recognize from the Buffyverse, but I also have a lot of freedom to create new ones. So yeah, definitely the demons.
Perfect. I love the demons. Never mind. Anything I was say, like, well, I want to talk about like the demons of that actual book, but spoilers. So I like the demons too.
I do love how Kiersten was like, oh, I was raised in a very religious household and didn't see my first R-rated movie but now I love writing about demons.
I do have a Buffy shirt, and it's a Buffy themed shirt, and it says, I survived the Hellmouth, and it's got like this very satanic looking pentagram, red and red with like blood, but it's a Buffy shirt, right? So I don't think anything of it. And I have several times worn it to school pickup and looked down and been like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be wearing this at the elementary school pickup. I did survive the Hellmouth, so
That's
it's
awesome.
a good way of getting people to social distance if they don't understand the Buffy reference.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
So next up is Adalyn. You created an amazing world building system within your book, giving all 7 islands a unique magic system. And then there's Island 8 that we came up with today. Can you share with us more about your world building process and if we'll be visiting any new places in all the Tides and Fate?
Uh-oh.
Oh no, she muted herself.
Hello?
There you are.
I was saying first, thank you. I'm glad that you thought that it was good world building, first of all. For me, it all came down to when I was plotting out this story, because what I knew in the beginning was only Amora. I knew what kind of main character I wanted to create and that she had a journey, because in the first chapter, I saw her on a ship, but I didn't know where that ship was going. So I was like, okay, well, there's water, so there must be like islands or something. And I was trying to figure out what magic I wanted. So, I mean, I have like 3 notebooks on my desk. I'm always writing little notes in it. And I was writing all the magic that I thought would be cool to explore and like that I had little twists on. And I couldn't narrow it down. So that is how I ended up with 7, which was not intentional. But yeah, for me, it just was all about like, I wrote down magics I liked. I wrote down, okay, well, how haven't I seen them used? How can I like try to spin this? How can I make it a little bit more unique? It's always notebook and pen for me. And then when I wrote it down, it doesn't really start to build itself until edits. And you like first discover the world when you're drafting, and then you get to know it, and then you're building it up and like fleshing it out in edits. So there was a lot of that. And for me, I was just trying to analyze like, okay, so what magic do they have? How does that influence what jobs they would have? How does that influence what they eat, what they wear, what they do on a daily basis, and try to build the island organically around the magic system. So to make it like as, organic and concise as possible. And yeah, we do see a couple more islands in book 2. We see one that we've been to in the past as well. We see, how it's changed, which I think is really cool. It's changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I love that. I love traveling. I love seeing all the different things. I like how basically you're the meme from El Dorado that's like both is good, but you're like,
Yeah.
7 is good.
I know. I had a meeting with my publisher and she just like looked at me and she's like, why did you do 7? And I was like, I don't know why I did 7. She's like, you really made that hard on yourself. I was like, yeah. I did.
7 is a godly number.
Yeah, there was no reasoning behind it. It was just like, oh, I like all these magics so much.
I have to say, I love the map that you have.
Oh, thank you.
Adeline. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm a map freak. Like, if I'm reading a story, I probably could have used a map for Slayer, Kiersten, if I'm being honest. Like, just because I love seeing where the characters are, where they go, and I start looking at everything on the map, like all the other islands. I'm like, oh, well, is Amora going to go over there? Like, what's going on over there? Like, are we going to have a spin-off series? Like, what's happening? You know, I love a map.
There are some clues on the All the Tides of Fate cover of where we go next. So
you can't tell that to a researcher.
Yeah, I was going to say one.
One is like really obvious.
Like
one is super obvious, so I think you'll be able to figure it out.
All right, bet.
Perfect. All right. Last individual question, and then we're going to finish up our stories for you guys. So, Square, we've seen your cover reveal by the amazing Gabriella Bujoso, and it is beautiful. One of the questions that we've seen a lot on the cover reveals that we've been dying to ask is, who is the redhead that is in the background of the book's cover?
The hiding one. That one.
Because she's sneaky. You don't see her at first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can thank Gabby for that one. She is, oh man, I could talk for literally days about that girl. She's an amazing artist, and she did do a good job of sneaking her in there. I can tell you a little bit about her. I don't think I would give too much away, but her name is Imagora. She is she's a witch, and she's a redhead. So we don't know anything about her. We know she's a witch, and she kind of takes Ard, who is the main character. She kind of lures him into the woods because, I mean, I am a sucker for witches and I am a sucker for woods, and I know that I wrote this story because this is what I want to happen to me. I want to be lured into the woods by a really beautiful witch. You know? That's where I feel like I just really want that to happen to me. I know it's probably not going to end well, you know, from how the stories go, but I wanted to kind of, I've always liked the allure of that whole dichotomy of like witches and woods, female empowerment, but also evil. Like, I don't know. It's just something that I always liked. So I had to put it in there. I had to come up with Imagora to do it. Yeah. I know. I just touched on a lot of topics like all at once.
Female empowerment and evil. I'm just kidding.
Female empowerment. But, you know, like it's really weird because like witches were the first, I think were the first examples of female empowerment, you know? I mean, I think there was this, before I get off into a weird tangent, there was this meme that I saw on social media a while back, and it was like, a 16th century person sees a woman living on her own and being okay with it. And then it says, the next line is 16th century person, witch. Just because she can live on her own and stuff. So I don't know. I would definitely wanted to have a witch. And so I brought Imagora in to do that. And she kind of guides Ard on the mission that he is going on this quest, and kind of tells him a little bit about the world, introduces him to the world of magic, and, you know, just kind of takes him by the hand, and is super pretty and will probably be shipped, I'm sure. So.
I thought you said something at first, and I was like, wow, that's a way to track a character.
Wait, what?
Ship.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear SHIPPED either.
Yeah, I was like, wow, she's a crap character. That's all right.
Shipped. I'm sure that will be shipped.
It's a good clarification.
Thank you
Yeah,
for the
definitely.
clarification.
Oh, man.
Okay,
Giving away too much.
Wrap up all of our questions, but we do have a game to finish real quick, so that we can find out what happened
Based on the answers that you guys gave, we
Oh,
have
right.
an ending to your stories here. You want me to do the first one, Britt, or you?
I'll go ahead and do the first one.
Okay.
Swear, you picked out your dragon shifter, who was just a little bit clumsy, and they are going through your Middle Earth style land with their owl in battle here. They are looking for a black stone for a ritual to make them not clumsy. They're fighting an ambitious, power-hungry lord, which they're going to fight by shifting into a dragon and breathing fire. Uh-oh. You are clumsy. As you are shifting into dragon form, you killed your companion by breathing fire on them.
Fire was...
Hold on.
You roasted them. Bad news, you are minus a side character, but good news, you have a great dinner ahead.
Oh my god! I'm gonna eat my owl companion?
You don't have to.
You dressed him in metal, so you like literally set him up to be in an oven. So
Cheated.
Not our fault. You're clumsy.
I'm cheated. Cheated out of my animal companion. Man.
all right, Adalyn,
Oh boy.
you chose a landlocked pirate with heaps of charm, but can't seem to keep hold of their luck for long. You also have a comic relief sidekick that has a crush on you, and you are in an island that is full of frogs and apparently tiny umbrellas. But you come up across a seductress that you don't know how to deal with. Luckily, you are charming, so you were able to charm your way out of things with the seductress by gifting her own frog. But you were also so charming that the villain now has a crush on you as well, and you're stuck with them, meaning that they killed your sidekick because they can't also like you. And no one wants to help you on the journey because she is horrible to everyone.
Wow.
Well, lucky
Tired
you,
out of luck.
you probably didn't accidentally roast your sidekick.
No, it was comic
You know?
relief, so I'm sure they died in a very funny way.
Right. Funnier than being
That's
barbecued
funny.
alive.
Right.
This is why y'all are the authors.
Yeah.
Kiersten, you had the daughter of the village blacksmith who has all the brawn and charisma, but tends to have no clue what's going on in the moment. She has a sassy best friend that will threaten anyone for her, but has the muscle capacity of a noodle, which works out because all the brawn, none of the brawn. You are going after the forging hammer to forge anything because you need to take on capitalism and the patriarchy that doesn't allow women to make their own wages. And that's what we need to fight for. Uh-oh.
Not a good sign.
I think we took this after her kid, Griffin, because he's been in an uh-oh phase. So it was like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
You were able to use your brawn to topple capitalism and patriarchy and prove that you were worthy of the forge, but you forgot that you had a companion, and now the women haters have abducted them and you're alone.
That tracks. That all tracks.
So you all end up sidekickless, but you know, it might extend your journey, but you will eventually.
Adalyn technically has a sidekick still.
Yeah, but he's just taken by the women haters.
Oh no, Adalyn has the seductress.
Well,
She's a new sidekick. She's just, got a little
Yeah.
And
spice.
the frog.
And the frog, I got an animal character too. I'm like, it's like Tangled.
yeah,
It is very tangled.
that's perfect. But that is all that we had. We're going to type these stories up just to post them later. For our time zone different friends, we are posting this live on YouTube later, and we'll have links on where you can purchase all of our authors' books or pre-order or just website and all this kind of information. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We've had a blast with you. Thank you for being our guinea pigs with our writing of the story.
It was fun. Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
But y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks everyone who stayed and watched and who will watch. And yeah, y'all have a wonderful evening.
Bye, guys.
Bye.